On today's episode of Homeworthy, we're taking you inside the spectacular Kips Bay show house in Palm Beach, Florida, to show you how designer Delia Kenza revived a bland staircase landing into a bejeweled upstairs lounge. A winding mural graciously brings you up to the artistic moment of the landing. Delia harmonized Gucci wallpaper with ambiguous period pieces and dramatic lighting to create a theatrical entrance. A beautiful bouquet of baby's breath sits atop a chrome pedestal to soften the strong graphic artwork displayed throughout the landing. Enjoy! You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story. Like and subscribe for more. What did this landing look like before you got your hands on it?
Like a landing. Not even like a very cute landing, no offense. It was a little boring, it didn't have much life to it, and the goal was, how do I create a moment on a landing without feeling like it's a reception room or like a fake TV room? That was the biggest challenge for me.
I feel like you've curated this into almost like an art experience. Was that the goal?
Total goal. That's what I was leading with. I felt like it needed to have a moment. You come up off of the stairs, and the way I designed the stairs is it's very quiet, very subtle, but then you come up to this space and it's like, and the idea was to have this very sculptural moment. I thought of a family who travels and collects and is just fabulous, and has all of this wonderful, interesting furniture. So I really selected everything from the lighting to the seating to be an experience.
Okay, we've got to talk about the lighting.
Yes.
Tell us about this.
So this lighting, if I say so myself, is really magnificent, and it does and is giving exactly what I needed it to give.
It's like the pièce de résistance. It's like the focal point.
It's the major focal point, and it is by a company called Loop Lamp Co. They are based in New York, and I reached out to them and we collaborated and created this really dramatic lighting situation here. And what I love about the lights is that they don't get hot. So like even to the touch. So it's very dramatic and throws off a lot of light, but you don't have to worry about it like
heating up the room.
Exactly.
Because we are in Florida.
Exactly, and it is warm. They create these custom dramatic situations. I mean, and it basically, we did it within the parameters of this ceiling medallion is what I'm calling it. That is by Fuller Architectural Panels, and we worked together and customized that so that the lighting had a moment and the ceiling had, everything has a moment.
Well, everything needs to have a moment.
Yes.
You picked everything I can see with great intention.
Yes, and I tried to bring about, because I said there's people who travel, right? So I brought in a lot of things from a lot of different places. You can't really identify the period. That was also intentional. So like if we start with the seating, this bench, like it's just fabulous. And it is very comfortable. Most people are very surprised by that, but it's like super comfortable.
It sort of looks like, ow.
As she sits in the metal partition, and I said she's sabotaging me.
It actually is very comfortable. It sort of looks like cool piping.
That's the name of the bench. It's called the pipe bench. I can't take credit for inventing the bench. That is by a company called Dune. We did work in creating this custom piece for the space, the dimensions, and even have these really cool mirrored tables, because I'm a mirror girl, a little drama, where you could sit a drink. You know, if you actually lived here, your keys, you know, it's like your moment before you're walking out the door.
Do you know what's great about this space is if you did have a huge party and it does trickle upstairs, I mean, this is a party space.
Let's be honest, it wouldn't happen to trickle upstairs. You would want people to trickle upstairs because this is a vibe. It almost kind of has like a, you're somewhere, yeah, exactly,
yes.
Right? So I guess I told you there's a lot of features in my opinion. You can agree or disagree, but there's a lot of features here. And one of I think another beautiful feature is this wallpaper by Gucci. Gucci makes beautiful wallpaper, and when I found this one, it was I had to do it because again, bringing in that whole unidentifiable period, right? This reminds me of European homes that clad in marble with these walls. So it kind of gives that trompe l'oeil marble effect. fabulosity, and I felt like the wallpaper needed art. And oftentimes people think, well, you have wallpaper, you don't want to cover it up, which is true, but in this situation, I knew a very graphic, strong piece that can hold its own, and scale is important. I like big things, and I cannot lie. So, so this is a really large painting made by a gentleman. His name is Jason Trotter with Trotter Studios, and I really think it just adds a nice little pop. And again, if this was a family who traveled, this would be something that they can add to or switch out. I don't know why they want to switch it out, but you know, you get the idea. It's like a moment.
And then I see that you have beautiful flowers kind of scattered about. Is that really
Yes.
important to you?
Oh, I love flowers. I love fresh flowers. And I think people often think flowers need to be super fussy.
Yeah.
And this looks very fussy, but it's like, you know, that they say the French look with the messy hair, and they just rolled out like, that's the idea here, right?
They
like
just
it's
rolled out of bed.
It just rolled, the flowers just rolled out and landed in the vase. So the idea is when you group things with the sameness, so these are really just beautiful baby's breath, but they're the same. So it's, you
Right.
just add a lot of something and put in some elements. I worked with a fantastic florist local to West Palm Beach, Ellie's Garden, and she came in and did the floral arrangement, and we talked about it, and I think it's pretty
It's stunning,
fantastic.
but you're right. I mean, usually people avoid baby's breath in an arrangement of other flowers,
Yes.
but alone, they're really chic.
They do what they need to do.
Yeah.
They have that rolled out of bed look. And then sat on top of this pedestal, a vintage pedestal. I think I'm American made vintage pedestal, groovy. I'm very much into chromes right now. So this is a whole vibe. It's like glowing
Yeah.
from below.
Take me over here and tell me about this sort of structural piece. What is it?
So this is a company, you know, you find companies and you're like, I can't wait to use it, I can't. So that's exactly what the show house does. It gives you an opportunity to use, work with brands or use product that you might not normally get to use. So this is a brand that I've been following for many years. They're called Molo Designs, and they make these paper partitions.
It's paper?
It's paper.
Oh my gosh.
That's another thing. I really try to be, in my own way, eco-friendly.
Uh-huh.
Like, I wouldn't say like the entire room is eco-friendly, but I was conscientious of that. Like even the bench, that's made with eco-friendly fabric from Cravat.
It's beautiful.
So what I liked about this is it's very sculptural, and it's its own moment in and of itself, especially when it's lit with this really cool lamp by Floss. And it kind of lets you kind of see the folds and the ripples. It stretches to like 15 feet. It's like humongous. You could do all kinds of stuff with it.
So it's not only artistic and structural, but it also could be like very purposeful if somebody were trying to cover something up potentially.
What are you trying to say? I was covering something up.
Are you covering something up?
Yes, that's exactly why I used it, because I didn't want to put something permanent. But I needed it
What are you
again
covering?
to have a moment. Well, there's utility closets.
Oh, that's such a smart idea.
Yes, and they need access. So if I put something permanent, it would be a disaster. But this just literally folds up like an accordion, so you just
Oh my
push it out the way.
gosh. Look at that. I just thought of that.
There you
Well,
go.
It's really beautiful. It's
Thank you,
really
thank
beautiful.
you.
And it looks not like paper.
It looks not, people are very surprised by it.
Yeah. What's your favorite thing about this space?
I think my absolute favorite thing is the integration of so many different things, like, you know, sculptures, African sculptures. I used pen bay masks from Angola. They're based on Angolan Congolese art. They're traditional masks. Because again, if someone travels and they're all over the world, you usually don't just go to one place, right? You're going everywhere. And so what I'm wanting to showcase is that beauty's in everything across all periods, genres, cultures, races, and should be showcased and highlighted. I wanted to create a moment from the beginning of you entering the staircase. So I would say the staircase is the more like, you know, subtle, quiet cousin who, like, you know, there's layers to it. You have to pay attention to it, but it's subtle. And then the landing is like the cousin who's like, yeah.
They have
Right?
it graciously sort of brings you up to the real artistic moment. But we start with something beautiful.
Yes. So this is something that I like to do oftentimes. I've done this especially many times in my own home, but if I have a client who lets me, This is a sculpture made by Delia Kenza, and it's really like the introduction to the space. Kind of sets off the vibe and the tone that this is not going to be your ordinary experience, right? Like, again, these are people who love art, appreciate sculpture, and want to add it in very subtle ways throughout their home. So I like to introduce art on the walls in murals. Oftentimes people think art just in a frame or on canvas, but I will invite artists to come in literally right on the walls. So Mustafa, the artist, created this mural. He calls it Blessings, Scriptures on the Wall, and it mimics waves, water, and there's people enjoying the waves and waters, and it's very subtle, and it kind of creeps up, and then when you get upstairs, you're like, ah! That's when you get to the drama cousin.
Because this is the quiet, gradual movement upwards.
Do you notice my voice is even like, I brought it down a notch, because I don't know, I feel very like, you know.
Zen.
Yes, with the light green on the walls. It just feels very, I didn't overdo it. I just felt like upstairs was enough. So this space just needed to be like a nice little.
It's not always more is more.
Not for me, maybe for some, and I appreciate the more is more, but sometimes you gotta know when to edit.
Right, and this is the edited
And
part.
this is the edited
It's a
part.
beautiful stairwell.
Thank you.
It's really lovely. Thank you for showing it to us.
My pleasure.
Thanks for watching. For more Homeworthy content, be sure to like and subscribe.